Time for Crypto Market Update, November 17th, 2025. Good morning, Bitcoin. Strategy is buying more at the tune of $835 million worth of Bitcoin. And yes, Bitcoin has printed a death cross, but don't let the scary terminology throw you off the trail. A death cross is when the 50-day moving average falls below the 200-day moving average. This great little chart by the Sobu Trade is circulating, and it's really helpful to give you perspective. You can stare at this all day long, but basically the net positive weeks and months after for Bitcoin after a death cross is substantial, typically in the 40 to 60% up range. Now, we're late in the cycle, and that's been my thesis for a long time now. And the 40 to 60% up from here, where we're at with Bitcoin, would line up perfectly. Perfectly might be an overstatement, but you get my drift. Currently, Bitcoin is back testing support, trying to find its launching pad for this next impulsive wave up to 130 or 140. Now, if we look at Bitcoin dominance, which is what needs to fall ultimately for altcoins to go up, we're looking at a potential UTAD event up here, or in other words, Wyckoff distribution panning out the way we need it to into a year-end or Q1 bottom. But as Bitcoin moves impulsively from here in the 93 levels, you'll see this Bitcoin dominance necessarily rise with the Bitcoin price, fueling that final Bitcoin impulsive move. However, the ceiling is very low from here for Bitcoin dominance, and it will top out and roll over, as I expect Ethereum and the large caps to travel with Bitcoin as it makes its impulsive move. If that happens, that is a great sign of the final inning of the game coming to fruition. But it could take weeks or months to pan out. You see, the selling in Bitcoin has been primarily mechanical, not structural. It's not a challenge to crypto's long-term trajectory. It's really just like year-end plumbing, forced ETF redemptions, and some original Bitcoin whales who just have an incredibly lopsided, top-sided grasp on the major supply of Bitcoin distributing into institutional hands. You also have the government shutdown that lasted historically long, which really contracted a lot of liquidity. But you also have quantitative tightening ending on December 1st. But you still have a little bit of confusion in the marketplace on rate cuts, although the bond market will make that decision with the 10-year Treasury. Ultimately, the Fed has to listen to the bond market. So the 10-year yield is really kind of the ultimate truth teller. Currently, the 10-year is trying to peek its head up and create this higher high. But my thesis is that it will not make its way above the 30-week moving average line here and break down. We still have several weeks for that, or a couple of weeks for that to pan out, as the next FOMC meeting is on December 10th. I think it's also really important to note that the United States specifically is about 5 different economies at the same time. There's no cookie cutter description of what's going on in terms of recession or expansion. As a matter of fact, I felt like this post from the Kobesi letter, America's reality, asset owners are living in the best economy of their lives. Everyone else feels like we are in a recession. There are 2 economies in the United States, asset owners versus everyone else. Now, this is a really interesting chart, and depending on which state of the union you live in, you might even be able to synthesize with this. But to go back to their point here, there are 2 economies in the U.S., asset owners versus everyone else. This is one of my themes. I call it Get to District 1. District 1 referring to the Hunger Games trilogy and all of the asset owners, all of the aristocracy, all of the District 1 citizens having that lopsided distribution of wealth. You are your own Mockingjay. You're the only person who can get yourself to District 1. Nobody's going to do that, and the state certainly is not going to do that for you. Your 9-to-5 job will not get you there. To become an asset property owner, you must become a savvy investor. There's a financial literacy that must be acquired that four-year schools are not teaching us. Many people own businesses or real estate or 401ks, IRAs, etc. However, they don't know that they have a ticket to District 1. They don't know that they have the opportunity to galvanize extreme generational wealth in the crypto property space. On this total 3 Bitcoin chart, I consider this little red circle right here the bus stop, the bullet train station to District 1. And as this train leaves, it's the last one that you'll see for a while. It's time to lock in. And if you want to learn how to build wealth without becoming a day trader, go to cryptoyall.com, click the big orange button, watch the overview video. If you like what you see, schedule a one-on-one video call with me. There's instructions how. Like and follow for more.